The Giants' defense finally get them on the board? And did someone find the answer to Barry? Kelly and Reich reunite in Buffalo. What's that about the best offense being a good defense? Off stakes aim in the nation's capital. The Steelers weren't hasty in Houston. Dallas and Denver meet in Big D. But the biggest D was still in Chicago. While Dion's old team, the Niners, look quite ready for prime time. The NFL returns to St. Louis. Would Jerome Bettis finally have something to cheer about? Would it be the Bucks or Yucks in Cleveland? Find the kids. Round up the pets. All hands on deck. NFL prime time is next. Once again, everybody, and welcome to NFL Primetime. I'm Chris Berman, along with our usual suspects, Tom Jackson and Bill. What do we use? Split Pidto last week? Pidto Pocket this week. We got a lot. Everybody playing again the first few weeks of the season. We've got lots to keep you posted on. First, let's get you caught up on the late games around the NFL. Under 2 minutes to go, Dallas seems to have this one in hand over the Broncos. They lead at 31-14. Now that's under a minute to go in Big D. Emmett with a touchdown in that game. The Colts have come from behind. Harbaugh continues to impress. A touchdown pass to Marshall Faulk with 3 minutes to go. Jets have the ball in a tie game, their own territory, 24-all. We shall keep you posted. Chargers and Seahawks, kind of lethargic. Chargers lead at 14-10. They have the ball with a minute to go at the Murph. Bengals and Jaguars. This is the longest game of the late games as the Bengals lead that game 24-17. It was so exciting that it took us a while to get it up there. 4 minutes to go now as Berman has been knocked out of the game in the second. Brunell has come in and scored for Jacksonville. 49ers, as they usually do, roar over the Atlanta Falcons. That's a final. The 49ers 41 and the Falcons 10. Jerry Rice, oh, by the way, 2 touchdown receptions, 11 catches. We shall show you highlights. The Giants and the Chiefs. Well, the Giants opening week lose by 35. The Chiefs opening week win by 24. So you figure this one is a laugher, right? Well, not necessarily, because Dan Reeves has always had Marty Schottenheimer's number, 9-2, going into today. Could that magic continue, even though his Giants, Reeves' Giants, were at a sold-out Arrowhead Stadium? Let's see if the Chiefs try to, and you know that look, Tom, of Dan Reeves when he's not pleased.
I have seen it before. We take a look here at the first play. Mark Collins gets a good bump on Chris Callaway at the line of scrimmage, then gets a little help from the referee. He screened, has to go around. Callaway with a nice 37-yard catch and carry.
All right, so same drive. Dave Brown then will roll it right. Plenty of time, rolls right, and then throws it to Hattie. And Callaway, there they go. 7-0 Giants. And Tommy, Derek Thomas, you've seen this before.
Well, Derek Thomas does a great job of stripping the ball once he gets to the sack there. He does a great job on Dave Brown, and George Jameson makes the recovery.
All right, here we go now. Marcus Allen had a good game. 17-yard pickup for that banner up on one. That would set up second and goal from the 3. Steve Bono, unfortunately, does not have you, babe. Mike Strahan picks it off, and the Giants hit it 10-3 at the half. After scoreless third, Chiefs threaten the 4th, 3rd and goal from the 7. But it's a feather. Robert Harris strips the ball. Keith Hamilton, look at it go. The big fella. Good. Go. Oh, wow. And Cash knocks the ball loose. But Tito Wooten falls out of the end zone. Hit the touchdown Giants, 17-3 in the 4th. 5 minutes to go in the 4th. Marcus Allen, touchdown. Marcus had an 86-yard day and the TD to Chief Charlotte, 17-10. Penalties hurt the Giants today. Willie Beeman grabs Dana Hughes' face mask, helps matriculate the ball down the field, as Hank Stram used to say. Still in the 4th. Minute 25 to go, second to goal from the 4th. And you've seen that look, Tom. Bono. This time, looks for Dana Hughes and zings it. Touchdown. And the Giants had this game in hand, but the Chiefs have tied it at 17, and we're going to overtime. Coin toss, and the Chiefs win the toss. Each team has the ball. Then another possession. Bono hands off to Greg Hill. He can't hold it. Maurice Douglas has it for the jump. No, but he can't hold it. Keith Cash. Boy, he's always around, isn't he? Falls on the ball. Saves the day. Lynn Elliott. Good. And so the Chiefs come from behind with scores late and scores in overtime. 23-yard field goal by Elliott, and the Chiefs now are 2-0. The Giants fall to 0-2. Kansas City wins it 20-17. Kimball Landers caught 11 balls for 68 today in the short passing game today for the Kansas City Chiefs. And Tommy, even though I think Kansas City had the better of the play, certainly, the Giants could have stolen the game.
Well, certainly in the second half, 2 times the Kansas City Chiefs are into the red zone, have the ability to go in and put the game away. They didn't. One time a fumble, the 87-yard return by Keith Hamilton gave the Giants a chance to win. And I think this is a big loss for Dan Reeves. Within the next 3 weeks, they're going to be at Green Bay, at San Francisco. These first 2 losses could signal a death march for the Giants.
As you pointed out on game day, only one team in the history of NFL has started at 0-2.
They added Emmitt Smith.
And made it to the Super Bowl, Dallas, a couple of years ago. And 0-2, as we go inside the numbers, 0-2 starts getting into the playoffs, not exactly the way you want to go. Since '89, it can be done. The Patriots did it last year. The Cowboys and Steelers, well, we talked about the Cowboys going on and winning the Super Bowl in '93. And the Chargers in '92 started 0-4 and got him. But it really, 0-2 is a heck of a hole, and that's the hole the Giants are looking at now. When we return, Rams. They're at home in front of a big crowd. They haven't had that for a while, and they celebrated by, all fired up against the Saints. Stay with us.
Prime Time is brought to you by Logo Athletic. Get real with authentic team apparel.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. To get you caught up on the late games, Denver has scored. Elway to Anthony Miller, 3rd time in the game, 31-21. The Cowboys lead is 10 points, 45 minutes to go. Overtime now at the Meadowlands. They're about to flip the coin. Jets and Colts tied at 24. We'd like to welcome those of you that have watched San Diego. Even their market 1-1. They beat the Seahawks 14-10. A huge day, 13 catches for Tony Martin. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, with 2 minutes to go, have the ball, trailing by 7 at Cincinnati, 24-17 Bengals. We shall keep you posted. The Saints and the Rams. Well, December 1987, the last time an NFL regular season game was played in St. Louis. After an 8-year hiatus, the NFL is back. The Rams, late of Anaheim, late of Los Angeles, late of Cleveland, now the St. Louis Rams. For the players, they had to be happy to see a packed house at home for a change as they got set to face the Saints, a divisional rival. And here we go, the Arch in St. Louis. Georgia's new team, but with the fans remembering the glory years of the St. Louis Cardinals. First quarter, looked like they had that line blocking from Jerome Bettis. He hasn't run for about a half a year. Here's an 8-yard pick up the right side. Jerome Bettis, the battering ram, 14 yards. Last week, he had 4 yards. This week, first half, 11 carries, 49 yards. Jerome Bettis coming to life. 3-0 Saints in the first quarter. Chris Miller to Isaac Lenny Bruce. He cracks a joke, and the Reverend goes into the end zone. Touchdown, 33 yards, 73 St. Louis. Like the old days. Remember Jim Hart, Mel Gray. Look at him go. They just do it the way the Cardinals used to. And the fans were thinking of that. It's 10-3 Rams in the second quarter. And a good pass rush, certainly by the Rams, Tom.
One of the things the Rams do well is pressure the passer. Here they force Everett out of the pocket. Todd Light makes the interception, and if I may, he could go all the way.
Todd Light gives the Rams a 17-3 lead, much of the chagrin of Jim Mora. Sean Personal Landetta with the punt. Tyrone Hughes, an excellent special teams player, but it's a fun battle. Mike Sherlock Holmes picks it up, and even though he falls down puffing his pipe, don't worry about it. You can't advance him up. But the Rams, boy, they make a lot of special teams plays, and they put themselves in business. 17-3, Jim Everett to Torrance Small. It's a large play. Gets the Saints within 7, 17-10. 17-13, 2:55 to go in the fourth. And watch this. Rams have the lead with 3 minutes to go. Most teams will just run it. A fake punt called by new coach Rich Brooks. It's a first down, and they run out the clock. Congratulations all around. Conrad, Dobla, Cods, Rams, everybody happy. Rams beat the Saints 17-13, 58,186, the most ever to watch a football game in St. Louis compared to 25,000 for their last game at Anaheim. The Rams had 5 sacks. They got 151 yards running from Bettis and Russell. And the Rams are 2-0, folks, 2-0 for the first time since the beginning of the '89 season. They've won 2 in a row at all for for the first time since '91. Boy, it helps to play in front of people. We will continue on this edition of NFL Game Day. We got plenty more to come, including Detroit and Minnesota. And depends on which side of the coin you're looking at it, kind of a heart-wrencher and a finish. Tim, what are we going to Pidto Pocket? Bill Pidto Pocket joins us now.
What happened to Torpedo?
That's next week. Don't get ahead of yourself.
I don't mean to jump the gun.
Or I might need that for a bye week. I'll tell you what, Redskins jumping the gun. They surprised everybody with a win last week. Raiders in. They're both 1-0. Somebody 2-0 and pretty excited here.
Yeah, and a change for Washington quarterback with Heath Schuler out with a bad shoulder. Washington started Gus Frerotte at quarterback. Nothing new here. Last year as a rookie, Frerotte started 4 games and Washington went 1-3. Frerotte's best game was his first game. He threw for 226 yards in a Week 8 win over the Colts. The best debut ever for a Washington rookie quarterback. Let's take a look now. Joe Bugle, former offensive coach for the Skins, now an assistant with Oakland. First quarter, no score. Hostetler to the Rocket. 14 yards on the play. Rocket 5 catches, 71 yards. 3 plays later, Hostetler the screen to Derek Fenner. Short passing game working for the second straight week. 12 yards. Inside the 5, 3rd and goal. Hostetler can't find a receiver. He's going to run. Skins stop him. Sets up a field goal for Mike White and the Raiders. Heath Schuler out of the mix. So Frerotte finding Westbrook, the rookie. Westbrook, 14 yards there. And then Frerotte to Westbrook again. Westbrook picking up 32 yards after the catch. That sets up a field goal. Westbrook in the first half, 4 catches for 70 yards. But for Westbrook, just 1 catch in the second half. Second half, Mike White's squad got lucky. We're tied at 6. Terry Allen, who had 131 yards last week up the middle, fumbles a football. Raiders recover. Key play. It leads to Hostetler. To Andrew Glover, 2 yards and a touchdown. Raiders up 13-6. TJ, how about Napoleon Kaufman now?
Well, every coach is looking for a running back who can do 2 things. You want to make people miss and you want to be able to run in traffic. You look at Napoleon Kaufman here, get outside, the burst he has down the sideline, good little 16-yard run, and then look, watch him in traffic, make people miss, get past those first 4 or 5 people and get 20 yards.
Sets it up for Hostetler. Back to pass, Fenner. Touchdown. Oakland's up 26. Raiders good D when it counts. 4th and goal here. Terry Allen stopped at the 2-yard line. Allen held to 49 yards. Raiders win it. Final score 20-8. The Raiders have given up just 15 points in 2 games. Raiders have won 7 of their last 9 against teams from the NFC. Washington is 4-15 in its last 19 home games. Frerotte 20 of 34, 272 yards in the loss. Hostetler 22 of 29 for 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chris, one of the big stories, though, is the Raiders' short passing game. In the 2 wins for the Raiders, Hostetler does not have a pass for over 20 yards.
Yeah, and the average there, completions are under 10 yards of completion, which is unbelievable. But the Raiders will take it. They are 2-0. The silver and black may be back. All right, Billy, we'll see you later in the show.
All right.
Keep the seat warm, all right? Lions and the Vikings. Well, certainly everybody, as usual, alive in our favorite division, the NFC Norris division. Detroit and Minnesota, though, 2 of the playoff teams from this division last year. The loser of today's game at Minnesota in danger of falling to 0-2. Not good for home ice advantage. And here we go from the Homer Dome. Tell you, it was good. Figures Barry Sanders would do the running in this game. Robert Smith held out just about all the preseason, and he bulls his way down to the 5, down to the 1 for a first down. Watch this now. 2 plays later, the handoff for Smith. Mike Johnson's going to meet him at the 1-foot line and try and hold him up, and he dives. Touchdown, 7-0 Vikes. Great effort, Tom.
Yeah, we take a look at the overhead view here, and look at the effort by Robert Smith. Right there, stop, back turn to the goal line, and lunges, crosses the plane right there for the TD.
Smith, 111 yards, only the second time in his career he's had a 100-yard game. Scott Mitchell, well, he has this weapon on the outside. Herman's Moore beats Donald Frank, 47-yard touchdown, plus a field goal makes it 10-7 Lions. Later moments, though, Mitchell just kind of blanked out after a play, passed out. He comes back 1 play later. Right now, no test scheduled. He completed the game. Again, a bizarre situation. Juan Reveiz hit a 30-yard field goal. Good. And for Reveiz, 30 straight field goals. And that's a record. More on that in a moment. Barry Sanders, no game. Barry Sanders, 2-yard loss. 13 carries for 35 for Barry Sanders. Where was he today? Vikings defense doing an outstanding job. Score 13-10 Vikes, 5 minutes to go. Warren Moon, Condre Ismail. After it hits both McNeil and Blades, he's gone. So a three-point game is now 10. 85-yard touchdown, and that nailed it, Tom.
Yeah, and as you watch this ball, poorly thrown ball by Warren Moon, but the defenders both play it. The ball gets tipped up in the air. Receivers practice this drill every day, the tip drill.
Well, to the chagrin of Wayne Fonts, it's the Lions that are the Norris team that starts 0-2, even though they played pretty well today outside of the fact they couldn't get Sanders going. They played very well last week at Pittsburgh, but they have nothing to show for. Of course, they have played 2 games on the road. But for the Vikings, Tommy, now here's a team that holds Barry Sanders, and we saw his ankles. One other thing. I said more on this later, and I lied. That's my fault. Fuad Reves. Fuad Reves now has a new NFL record, 30 straight field goals. He kicked 2 today, breaking the old mark for John Carney. So John's record is good night, everybody. And oddly enough, it was Carney that replaced Reves a few years ago as kicker of the Lightning Bolt. So congratulations to Fuad, whose now streak continues, and he can set that up pretty high. Now, back to Barry Sanders. He's only 35 yards despite his great ankles.
Well, I think it begins with the scheme by Tony Dungy, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings, but you have to have the people to play the scheme. This front of his, the front 7, is a rather smallish front. They have great quickness, and when you watch Barry Sanders' style, it is basically out-quicking everybody in the front 7. I think as long as, and we've talked about this before, keeping him in between the tackles, taking away his outside foot, they do a great job of it.
So they may not be as big, Minnesota up front, but for Sanders, that might be the perfect recipe.
They may not be able to stand up as well to those 300-pound plus guys, but when it comes to out-quicking guys against a guy like Sanders, they're effective.
Well, Tony Dungy has done this before, Tom, as we go inside the numbers. Sanders, before Dungy and Green and that crew got there, had 220 yards in a 91 game against Minnesota. And there you see it right there. But the last 6 games against the Vikes, so this is now the Dungy on defense and Dennis Green, the head coach. This is what has happened. 98 carries for 343 yards. That's like 50. What? Just it's not very good, is what it is. It's not. I can't do the math. There's too many things going on. But this is a guy that gained 1,883 yards last year. And so the Vikings have had their number. When we return, reunion time in Buffalo. Would the old Bills or new Bills excel Carolina and Buffalo? Prime time, we'd like to welcome those of you that have watched the Cowboys beat the Broncos 31-21. Highlights coming up. One game still going. Got 10 minutes to go in overtime. Colts have the ball just into Jets territory, tied at 24 overtime at the Meadowlands. And the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are 2-0. They have beaten Jacksonville 24-17. Highlights that game in a moment. The Buffalo Bills put together a marvelous team that represented the AFC 4 straight years in the Super Bowl here in the 90s. But many of the names today came back disguised as members of the Carolina Panthers. Frank Reich and Pete Metzelaars and Don Beebe and Carlton Bailey and general manager Bill Polian, now of Carolina, was the architect of this Buffalo team. As Yogi would say, deja vu all over again at Rich Stadium. Jim Kelly, 319 yards short of 30,000 yards. But he would stay very short as pass is tipped by Mike Fox, intercepted by Tim McKyer. Bill's next possession, Kelly's pass. Going to be picked off by Brett Maxey. And Maxey pads it out to a 50-yard return. And look at Carlton Bailey. Jim, I used to be your teammate, but get out of here. First half, Jim, 1 of 11 for 4 yards and 2 interceptions. It got worse. First possession in the second half. The score, 6-0 Carolina. Kelly picked off by the former Saint Sam Mills. He returns it to the 20, setting up a field goal, 9-0. And the fans saying we should look to our backup. Our backup is Frank Reich. Oh, no, wait a minute. Actually, our backup is not Frank Reich. He's the quarterback of Carolina. Let's scratch that plan. 9-0 Carolina in the third quarter. But in the third quarter, it all turned. Kelly. And a simple pass to Russell Copeland. Timmy McKyer doesn't get the ball. Look at him go. He could go all the way. Justin Armour, hot dog, lays a block down, 77 yards. Quickly 9-7, Tom. It changed.
First thing here, a great job of Jim Kelly stepping up in the pocket and finding a seam. But look at the distance between McKyer and Copeland. He should have made the tackle right there, given them the first down. Instead, he shifted momentum for the Buffalo Bills.
And then a sack, a punt, good field position, capped off by Thurman. Normal Thomas. 9-play, 41-yard drive. It's 14-9 against Dom Capers' Carolina Panthers. Next possession, first play, look at Thurman Thomas, Tom.
And the whole tempo of the offensive line and everything that went with it picked up, including Thurman Thomas.
Thomas's run helped set up the man that's replaced Kenneth Davis and spelling Thomas. This is the rookie Derek Holmes. 3 yards out, touchdown, 21-9. Jim on the phone saying, well, gee, the first 9 drives were terrible, but the last 3 are pretty good. Then the icing on the cake. Kurt Schultz, he knows nothing. He sees everything. He picks up Frank Reich, and it's the Bills with a 28-point third quarter. The Carolina Bills, they got a nice hand. Reich and Kelly and the ex-teammates had a nice visit, but after a major scare by a very game Carolina team, the Bills beat Carolina by the count of 31-9, and as you pointed out, time of the game turned on a dime.
Well, it's not often that that a whole game will turn on one play, but I think that if you're a ball player, you have to understand the situation that you're in. You're leading 9-0. The opposing offense has had no success. Timmy McKyer had no chance to make a play on that ball to Russell Copeland. He had to think about making that tackle and putting him down on the ground. Who knows how that game would have gone had he done that?
Well, the Bills, though, escape, and they're home next week against the Colts. Carolina, they'll get their home opener next week. They've showed us a lot in the first 2 weeks, although they don't have a win yet to show for it. When we return, we got plenty to show you here on NFL Primetime. The Steelers and the Oilers, each 1-0. And Pittsburgh, you know they can lay the lumber on defense even though they're without guys like Rod Woodson. And you make a mistake, you're going to pay for it against the Steelers. And Vinny Vici. Vinny present against Vinny past. Steelers and Oilers in the Dome. Jeff Fisher and the NFL sod god. Look at George Thomas. Safe! And the field was ruled safe. Rod Woodson is out, but who needs him on punt return, says Andre Hastings. They haven't seen a play like this in Hastings since 1066. Since the Battle of Hastings, it's a 72-yard punt return, and he's gone, running right into your living room. A minute into the game, 7-0 Pittsburgh. In the first still, Mike Tomczak, 29-20 as a starter, relieving the injured Neil O'Donnell. Marcus Robertson has the pick, but he can't quite come down with it. And had to leave with a right knee strain. Thank you, Esther Terp. 7-3 Steelers in the first quarter. Tomczak rolls right. And the first-round draft pick of the Steelers, Mark Bruner. Welcome to the NFL with a touchdown. 15-yard Steelers in control, Tom. Meanwhile, Chris Chandler came in hurting. He knew what he would face in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and it was going to get worse because Chad Brown gets to him here from the bottom of the screen. He had 3 sacks on the day, and then we watch him get sandwiched between Chad Brown and Kevin Green right there.
So Chandler, who had to leave last week's game, only to come back, and they sicked the dogs on him today, did Pittsburgh, because Chandler was running for his life. Here he flushed out of the pocket, rolling left, throws against the body, not a good throw. Myron Bell rings it, and the pain continues for Chandler. And now, Tommy, more Pittsburgh pressure.
Yeah, top of the screen, Roderick Lewis with a pretty good job of holding Kevin Green, but it made no difference right there as he forces the fumble.
Green gets credit for the sack, the 100th of his career. So Kevin Green, the longest-haired player to have 100 sacks in the history of the NFL. Carnell Lake picks off Chandler, goes 32 yards for a touchdown. 34-17. The pain continues for Chandler in Pittsburgh. Well, this is what they should do to a team like the Oilers, as they go in and just they get on them very early, and Pittsburgh puts a hurt on, leading 24-3 after the first half, and so Houston just could not come back. Bucks and Browns in Cleveland. The Vinny Bowl, his old team against his current team. And let's say this right here. Vinny Testaverde has never looked better than he has a lot of last year and the first couple of games this year. Look to Keenan McCardle, replaced Michael Jackson today. It's 15 yards. Then, 3rd and 1 at the 25. Testaverde as Andre Bad Moon Rising was a bad moon because he dropped it. Stover hit a couple of field goals. 6-0 the Browns. Sam Weiss says, well, we can kick a field goal. Michael Kamahosta blocked by Rob Burnett. Weiss says, we get inside the 10. We should score here. The Bucs did move inside the 10 several times, so they had trouble putting up points. On the Browns' next possession, Testaverde hangs in the pocket. This is a dart to Derek Alexander. Actually made a good comeback in the play, Tom. And then Testaverde to McCardle. That's a nice throw. They go for 2 and don't make it, but it's 12-0 Cleveland. Bucs punted on the next possession. 1st and 10 at the Buck 32. Testaverde. Now this one, not all Vinny. McCardle is wide open. 19-0 Browns at the half. All those points coming in the second quarter. Vinny 14 of 18 for 227. Early in the third, with the Bucks knocking inside the 10, Dilfer to Lawrence Dawsey, but Don Griffin, the former 49er, is there to make the pick.
Yeah, and Dilfer as a quarterback still growing. He's a young guy. He's going to get better. Here as we watch the play develop, you're going to see Jackie Harris coming across the middle. Right there, he's open. Dilfer doesn't see him. Watch Griffin from the back side of your screen, the left side of your screen. He's coming into the play. Quarterback with his eyes away from him, never sees him come in and step in and make the pick.
Early fourth quarter, it's 19-6 Browns. Dilfer, and here's Anthony Pleasant nailing Dilfer. Hits a fumble. Ron Burnett covers. 7 sacks today for Cleveland. You had a feeling their defense would bring it after New England ran up and down on the field on them last week. And so the Cleveland Browns win that game by the count of 22-6. That's 22-6 is the final in the Browns-Buccaneers game. In a game that really Tampa, well, they dug themselves a hole. And Vinny, 17 of 27 for 256. You know he felt happy about it, although he wasn't gloating afterwards. Vinny looks pretty mobile to me, Tommy, this year.
Well, I think whenever you talk about a quarterback improving, you talk about field presence, and a lot of people have been critical of Vinny Testaverde over the years, but if you watched him the first couple of weeks, Vinny has shown a nimbleness that we didn't know he had. He's gotten out of the pocket and made things happen for his football team, and I think that people forget what a physical presence he is on the field. There's nobody that throws a prettier or a better ball than Vinny Testaverde.
Well, and he moves well. Tampa, to their credit, I mean, they split at Philly and at Cleveland. I mean, they got a lot to be excited about. Rhett had close to 100 yards at 89. I mean, they held Cleveland to 70 yards rushing, but it was Cleveland that needed the game, and both teams end the afternoon at 1-1 marks. When we continue on NFL Primetime, the big early game, Dan Marino and the Dolphins at Foxborough to play Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots. Was it a passing fancy, or was it otherwise? Primetime that have watched the Colts come from a 24-3 deficit in the third quarter and beat the Jets in overtime on a 52-yard field goal by Mike Kofer. New York, New York. The combined New York teams in the Meadowlands 0-4. A bad loss for the Jets. Obviously, we'll have highlights a little bit later on. The big early game, Miami at New England. And both came into the game 1-0. But for New England, a young team, yeah, they had some important games last year. They made the playoffs, obviously. But this, a big game. For the Miami Dolphins, it was another big game. If you understand the difference, keep that in mind as you watch what happened this afternoon at a frenzied Foxborough. Super Bowl fever certainly in New England, but Miami early with a field goal, and then on their second drive, Dan Marino to the former #1 draft pick of the Patriots, Irving Fryer. Down the sidelines, gone. 67 yards, 2 possessions, 10 points, 10-0 Miami.
Yeah, watch a replay here as you see the DBs play a little bit of a game with the Dolphins. Maurice Hurst blitzes from his corner position. Myron Guyton comes over to cover Fryer. Fryer plays a better game of stop and go on him for the touchdown.
Bill Parcells says, well, we would like to run, but I have my weapon. Here's Drew Bledsoe. Remember that shootout those two had in week 1 last year? Bledsoe to the CFL expatriate Will Moore. Current Patriot, but expatriate spelled differently, okay? It's 10-3 after a field goal. Second quarter, it's Marino. Irving Fryer, the ball was behind him. It's picked up by Ricky Reynolds, the former Buck. Bledsoe looks to Ben Wintercoats, but a fine play by Michael Stewart inside the 5, and the Patriots squander a big chance. Miami 1st and 20 at their own 37, but Marino to Fryer. They get Maurice Hurst on interference, Tom.
Well, if that's interference, they're going to call every defense of the pass interference.
But Marino makes him pay for it. Look at Terry Kirby. Kirby lofts 131 yards to Fryer again, ruining his old team. 17-3 Miami at the half. Fryer 3 catches, a $110 and a pair of touchdowns. Patriots punting. O.J. McDuffie signals for the fair catch, but doesn't get it. John Burke falls on it for the P-men. 4th and 6 from the 29. The Patriots, Bill Parcells likes to go for it. Bledsoe drops back. Brian Cox hits him. Hits it from the stumbling. Look at him go. Oh, it's another fumble. Where is it? Fall on it. Michael Stewart finally falls on it. Then Blaney Pomeroy runs right. He hit and he fumbles. And the Patriots take up. What's going on here, says Don Shula. Patriots drive to the Miami 31. 1st and 10. To Will Moore over the middle, but the refs rule it incomplete. It's sliding catch. It's a tough play. But watch on 4th and goal, Tom, Brian Cox again.
Brian Cox here with a great job of penetration. And this is how you clear the way for your friends to make plays. Right there, and Dwight Hollier steps in and makes the play.
So on 4th and goal, the Patriots again come away empty-handed. 17-3, Bill Parcells, and the Patriots have a last chance. Touchdown to Ben Coates. But flags on the play, Tom, and a push off. You saw it very quickly.
Yeah, I think Brian Cox, though, should have anticipated that and leaned toward Coates.
Well, he got the penalty, so they take the touchdown off the board. Then Bledsoe deflected by and Brian Cox. Man, he was everywhere. Brian Cox is a big game player. Say what you want about him. He comes up big in big games. This was a huge one. And 2 impressive wins for the Miami Dolphins. A big win as they now take control in the division. They beat the Patriots in Foxborough by the count of 20-3, heading into that big Monday night game with Pittsburgh. Oh, by the way, New England is at San Francisco next week, so you can see what that game meant. Big win for Miami. After the game, Bill Parcells not happy.
We just didn't do a good job. I'm really disappointed. This is about as disappointed as I've been in this team in a long time. When you got a team that goes out there and plays like that, you know, you got to take a look at yourself first and your coaching staff. And I don't think we did a good job. I just thought we were ready to play better than we were. But we just, you know, we just were like we were sleepwalking or something.
Well, Miami was not sleepwalking. You go in and get 10 points first 2 possessions and the other guys park. As excited as the fans are, you know what that does? That helps you immeasurably.
Well, we may have a contender in the AFC. You know, when you talk about the Miami Dolphins, I think we all knew that they had an endless list of weapons. I think that sometimes we tend to forget that Don Shula may be the best coach ever at knowing how to utilize the weapons he has offensively. As far as Bill Parcells and the Patriots, the 39 yards rushing for his team, I think, is very revealing. Put a lot of pressure on Drew Bledsoe, who, for once this season at least, was fairly ineffective.
Yeah, they have a lot of weapons on both sides of the ball, and guys like a Brian Cox. I mean, not even the big name offensive players. Right. I mean, they all came through. One that came through was Irving Fryer. You know, he enjoyed it. 18 games as a Patriot against the Dolphins. About 3 catches a game, maybe a little more. But 5 games as a Dolphin against the Patriots, 6 touchdowns. Average of almost 30 a catch, almost 500 yards. 2 touchdowns today, a big reason why the Dolphins now early control of the AFC East. When we return, we have all the late highlights. Jerry Rice, he's a highlight every time he's on the field. And the big game between Denver and Dallas. John Elway, could he weave magic against the boys? Stay with us. Baseball rivalry as it gets. Red Sox, Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Mo Vaughn, Kevin Kennedy. Sox, Yankees, top of the hour, Sunday night baseball. Back in NFL Primetime, and they went overtime in New York, which, you know, on a Sunday is about 5.5 times, I guess, for union wages. But Rich Kotite was hoping for a little bit of a better Meadowlands debut. Was
and some history between Kotite and the Colts quarterback. Back in 1991, when Jets coach Rich Kotite coached the Eagles, Philly took Craig Erickson out of Miami in the 5th round of the draft. Philly couldn't sign Erickson, so he went back into the draft and was picked by Tampa in 1992. Now a Colt, Erickson got yanked in last week's loss to the Bengals, but Erickson got the start against Kotite and the Jets. Into the Meadowlands we go. Great ball game. Jets impressive on the first drive. Esiason stumbles, hands off to Richie Anderson. Anderson will scamper, however, for 11 yards. Same drive, Esiason, the screen pass to Ron, not Rob, of course, Moore. Moore here with the great moves and all the way to the 8-yard line. 3rd and goal at the 5. Esiason to Charles Wilson, 5 yards, and a Jets touchdown. It's 7-0 at this point. Boomer the Jets. Impressive drive, 15 plays, 80 yards in 9:08. Colts first possession now. Erickson, pass is tipped, intercepted by Otis Smith. Looking to go back the other way, 49 yards. And the Jets go up, TJ, by the score of 14-0.
Yeah, Billy, this play caused by 2 things. First of all, Craig Erickson's pass a little bit off target, high and behind Marshall Faulk, and Gary Jones makes a nice hit.
So, Kotite and the Jets lead 17-3 at the half. Early 3rd quarter. Erickson yanked. Numbers looked okay. 12 out of 18, 141 yards, 1 interception. 4th quarter, though. Harbaugh, who let him back last week. Great scrambler this time to Sean Dawkins. Touchdown. Colts within 7. Jets next possession. Esiason fumbles the snap. Dicey situation. Colts recover. Big play. Next Colts possession. Harbaugh can't find a receiver. He scrambles. So mobile. Picks up a big 1st down. Late hit by Evans. Another 15 yards. Next play, Harbaugh to Faulk. 14 yards. It's a touchdown. We're tied at 24. We go in overtime. Esiason, Wayne Krebit, the free agent from Hofstra. Earlier a touchdown reception. Oh, he could have won the ball game. Jets don't score. In OT, Mike Kofer getting ready. Here's Harbaugh in the first OT possession. 23 yards on the pickup. Here we go. Kofer, 52 yards up for the win, and it is good. Yes, for the Colts. 27-24. Colts have won 10 of the last 13 between these two. Jets have lost 7 straight. 2 TD passes for Esiason, now 15th all-time in that category in the National Football League. Colts 8-4 at the Meadowlands against the Jets. Harbaugh, 11 of 16, 123 yards. Jacksonville and Cincinnati. First quarter, Bengals up 3-0. Jags driving. Steve Berline yanked last week, got to start again this week to Randy Jordan. Clip it, save it, cherish it, treasure it. The first touchdown in the history of the Jacksonville franchise. Randy Jordan, 71 yards and a TD, 7-3 Jags. Bad news, though, for Berline. McDonald crawls in on Berline, sacks him, grabbing the back of his right leg. Berline came out of the game. A sprained knee did not return. Bengals on the move. Jeff Blake to Eric Bieniemy. 13 yards on this play. Then Blake over the middle to Bieniemy. Once again, this play will cover 19 yards down to the 3-yard line. Then Blake to rookie tackle Melvin Tootin from Syracuse. Hey, welcome to the NFL. 10-7 Bengals. Blake says bang, bang, bang. TJ, what a play.
Yes, you watch this tackle eligible to Tootin. Look at the quickness with which Blake releases the ball. There's not a lot of distance right there for Tootin to make this catch before he's going to run out of room. He gives him a nice soft pass.
Kozlin says, you know, I can call those plays. Third quarter, Bengals first possession. Joel Semengi converted. Outside linebacker. Now playing defensive end. Strips Blake inside the 10. Jags ball. Jags appear to go ahead on Georgia's touchdown run. Hold everything. We got holding on the offense. Bring it back. Game ended up being tied at 10. Fourth quarter, Bengals up 17-10. Blake hits Carl Pickens, a developing situation. 68 yards and a touchdown. Pickens had the touchdown now in 7 straight games. 24-10 Bengals. Hold everything. The Jags come back. Brunell in for Berline. Fakes, rolls into the end zone. Touchdown. It's a 7-point ball game. Jags won't quit. Less than 20 seconds to go. Could it be? Brunell in the shotgun. It will not be. No, it won't. Right there. Sack. Forget it. Coughlin oh so close. Bengals hold on to win by the final score of 24-17. 5 receptions, 102 yards for Pickens. Quite a ball game. Blake, 20 of 30, 247 yards. Chris, the Bengals are 2-0 for the first time since 1992. That, of course, was David Shula's first year.
Jaguars and really Carolina do a good job by the expansion teams, even though they don't have any wins. And you know what? If the Jets had just signed Deion Sanders, they'd be on their way to the Super Bowl. But instead, it's Jets, Jets. Oh, boy. At any rate, the team that did sign Deion Sanders did it early Saturday morning. Dallas Cowboys. Early Saturday, they get Deion. Late Sunday, they see John Elway. So it goes for Dallas and what they hope will be another run to the Super Bowl after taking last year off and watching San Francisco do it. Here we go. The Cowboys at home against Denver. Welcome, Deion. Not there yet, obviously. John Elway trying to stretch out. Mike Shanahan trying to stretch out the Dallas defense. But early on, Tony Tolbert knocks an Elway pass. Look at John alertly knocking it down. Then Leon Let It Be is able to tip this pass. And then Chad Hennings gets a paw on it. And it's picked up by Larry Brown on his banner now. Down to the 7. Elway with the tackle. And Trey Aikman to Moose Johnston. 7-0 Dallas. Greg Robinson, the new defensive coordinator for the Broncos. And he was hoping they could bottle up Emmitt Smith, something that really nobody can do. Emmett, 15 yards to the Dallas 25. Then Aikman to Michael Irvin. You know the names, you know the weapons. And in most cases, you know the result. He's able to elude Steve Atwater. 29-yard pickup down to the 37-yard line. Next play, Aikman, Irvin. 15 yards down to the Broncos 22. 3 plays later, Denver blitzes. But a good pickup in the middle of the line. Aikman has time to dump off to Emmitt Smith. And Mr. Smith goes inside the 5-yard line. How'd that work, Tom?
Well, you watch a spot shadow of Emmitt Smith here. You're going to see a great play by a great player. First of all, he does his job, which is to block on the blitz, keep Troy Aikman healthy. Right there, he gets his block, flips his man in the air. But then he gets up, gets himself open, makes a play, and takes the ball down to the 3.
On 1st and goal, Aikman rolls out. He's going to head for the goal line himself. And watch this. Randall-esque up and over and scores. 14-0 Dallas to the chagrin of Mike Shanahan. But Denver, though, comes back late second quarter. Elway, Anthony Miller. Been waiting for this for a year and a half. Touchdown. His 200th career touchdown pass for Elway. Only the 19th man in NFL history to reach that mark. Congratulations, John Elway. Denver with 1 play left in the half. It's a Hail Mary by Aikman. It's a crowd in the end zone. Everybody to Corey Fleming. Oh! Corey Fleming almost catches it, Tom.
Yeah, fundamentals. Knock the ball down. Don't try to intercept it.
Well, Denver doesn't pay for it there. But in the third quarter, more Cowboys, more Emmett. Here he avoids Shane Dronette with the spin. And then Lionel Washington. He just bulls right through him. It's a 12-yard run. That leads to 3rd and goal. Aikman to Jay Novacek at a big day. Touchdown. As Aikman 18-31, Barry Switzer says we're up at 21-7. Barry Switzer saw Emmett 26 for 114. The touchdown by Emmett is 80th of his career. Despite 3 Elway to Anthony Miller touchdown passes, the Cowboys beat Denver 31-21, and Dallas is 2-0. Okay, how about the 49ers? How could Steve Young play? How could they block? How could they tackle knowing that they don't have Deion Sanders? Well, they only beat Atlanta 92-17 last year, and Steve Young in the combined 2 games. Steve Young to Jerry Rice. He's now 59 shy of 200 touchdowns. 7-0 49ers. Falcons first possession. Jeff George. Who's going to play corner with no Deion? Tyrone Drakeford makes the pick. Falcons continue to turn the ball over. 22 turnovers the last 6 games. Then Steve Young, or last 7 games, I lied. Then Steve Young goes back to work. Young to Nate Singleton. And he slips a tackle for 19 yards. Then it's Young rolling left. Jesse Tuggle nails him just as he unloads it. No flag on the play. Young shaken. Remember, he was battered last week against the Ones, but he stays in the game. 49ers get a field goal to make it 10-0. Harris Barton not playing. That's Bob McKittrick, knowing that Deese has gotten hurt in this game, the offensive line coach. But Young to Rice try and catch him. 54 yards down to the 1 front line. They end up with a touchdown at 17-0.
Yeah, Jerry Rice does whatever it takes to get open. Here a couple of moves and shakes DJ Johnson at the line of scrimmage to get open for a perfect toss from Steve Young.
All right, so that's Rice in the first half, 8 for 122. Meanwhile, Iron Hurt. This stuff by Alfred Williams, the new Elephant Man for the Niners. Then, second quarter, Jeff George, Alfred Williams, another sack. Who's going to run the ball? Ricky Waters is gone. Well, they're going to give it to Derek Loville. Loville right up the middle, down near the goal line to the 2. 1st and goal on the blitz. Young, Brent Jones, nice touch, wide open. 24-0 Niners, 3 to 13 yards in total offense early. Then second half in the first half alone. Then 34-10 Niners in the the fourth quarter. Young to Rice. Do you think he's going to go, Tom? Oh, I do. It's his second touchdown, 29 yards. He's 58 shy of 200 for his career. Jerry Rice, 11 catches, 167 yards. You saw the 2 touches. Steve Young, a horrible day. 27 of 40 for 331 yards as the 49ers again dissect the Falcons 41-10. So the 49ers, like the Cowboys, 2-0. Last year's combatants in the Super Bowl, the Chargers, at home against the Seahawks. Natron means possession. In the first quarter, the Chargers, who scored only 7 last week at Oakland, give it to Means for an 8-yard pickup. Then at the Murph, Means again follows blockers, goes to the right side, and gets 7 yards. Bolts mix it up. Stan Humphries to Tony Martin. Martin against this team last year caught a 99-yard touchdown pass. This one goes down to 21 yards. Then Martin gets the call again. Humphries fakes. Martin open. Touchdown. Bolts. Had the ball for almost 12 minutes in the first quarter. 7-0 San Diego.
Yeah, and as you watch here, Humphries has a wide open player. He overthrows right there.
And the Seahawks get the ball. A kill charges Terry Wooden making the play. 3rd and 10 from Seattle. Rick, no time to wallow in the mire, so he goes out of the pocket and gets a dive with a first down. Then more Meyer magic. Bootleg to Christian Fourier. Their 2nd-round draft pick, new tight end. 20 yards touchdown. We're tied at 7-7. Seattle leads at 10-7 in the third quarter. The Bolts need to get going. Humphries to Ronnie Harmon. Such a valuable receiver. What a nice throw. Touchdown. 14-10 Lightning Bolts. Fourth quarter. Means against Cortez Kennedy, who had bruised some ribs on the play. Although Natron at 115 yards on 26 carries had a productive day. Chargers going for the kill. Humphreys to Martin, but Dwayne Wilson-Pickett waits till the midnight hour and strips the ball. Michael Sinclair recovers for Seattle. Meyer trying to get the Seahawks to lead. The bomb to Brian Blades. It's a little overthrown. Rodney Harrison, the youngster, makes the pick. Dennis Erickson, Bobby Ross shake hands. Again, the Chargers having trouble scoring, but the Chargers are the ones that go 1-1, and the Seahawks fall to 0-2, 14-10. San Diego. Humphreys 23 of 35 for 260. We told you that Tony Martin in that game had a big game. 13 catches for 163 yards. All right, Tommy, now the progress report on the big two, Dallas and San Francisco. First in the Dallas-Denver game. Denver game, but Dallas again had pretty much all the cylinders rolling, didn't they?
Well, and I think we saw something here. We saw great balance offensively with the running game and with the passing game. You get Emmitt Smith over 100 yards, and he's especially tough when he gets down around the goal line. He knows how to get the ball into the end zone. But I think they showed some deficiencies in their defensive backfield, and certainly I think that Deion Sanders, when he gets there, they'll have him worrying about defending the pass, not catching the pass.
For $25 million, I think they feel that they've shored up those deficiencies in the defensive backfield with the Smith out for the season. San Francisco, obviously just one day they know that they're not going to have Deion, but I got to think that Jerry Rice and company are pretty motivated, because now even as champs, they're almost the underdog, and they played like they were ready to come out of the shot from guns today.
I think what the Cowboys have done is made the pregame speech for George Seifert pretty easy week in and week out. We shouldn't even take the field because we don't have Deion Sanders. It gets them pumped up. I think they went out to send a message today, and who better to send it against than the Atlanta Falcons.
So Dallas looking good, San Francisco looking great. Deion, by the way, 4 for 6, a double and 3 singles as the Giants beat the Cubs to stay 5.5 out in the NFL. We give it to you all here on NFL Primetime. Primetime players and much more coming up if you keep it where it is. Gotta love the old vinyl. Every now and then it has a skip in it. Here we go. The 100-yard rushers at NFL Primetime. Natron means business for a win. Emmett had 100 yards. They won. Robert Smith had 100 yards for the Vikings. They won. It's amazing how that works. Steve Young, only 300-yard passer. Sometimes it doesn't work, but in Steve's case, it usually does. They won. Jerry Rice, huge game, won. Tony Martin, huge game, they won. Will Moore, Russell Copeland, Anthony Miller, all had 100-yard receiving games. That did Slim Pickens. And Chris Cab Calloway had a high in a loss. Well, Tony Martin had a big game, but one thing we didn't tell you about Jerry Rice, another record. He's my primetime player, tied Don Maynard, one of the greats, the long-striding Jet, with his 50th 100-yard receiving game. Jerry Rice, Don Maynard in the record books. Bill?
Minnesota running back Robert Smith, third-year pro from Ohio State, 20 carries, 111 yards, the second 100-yard game of his career as Minnesota beats Detroit 20-10.
Billy, my primetime player, fellow linebacker Brian Cox caused the fumble, got an INT, 13 tackles on the day, and we'll be back.
We hope you enjoyed all the games. For Bill Pidto and Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching Primetime. Red Sox and Yankees coming up.
Thanks, Chris. From Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, it's ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Tonight, the Boston Red Sox, an American League MVP candidate, Mo Vaughn, take on the New York Yankees and Don Mattingly. It's the ESPN Sunday Night Game of the Week. The Boston Red Sox have long since run away from the